A Java with John, Java with John. Grab a cup of Java and sit on down and have some Java with John.
Hello, my name is John Maloney, and this is my Java. Welcome to another episode of Java with John. First off, before I get into a couple comments from my last episode, I want to give a shout out to Jeanette, my friend. She made me some mugs. So this is the first mug. I'm just going to hold it up like this and try to turn it around a bit. So yeah, she created this all on her own. Hopefully the camera's getting a good view. I don't want to spill the coffee. So yeah. So Jeanette made this mug, and yeah, so I think I'm going to debut these mugs at certain subscriber points. So the next, I'm pretty low, I have less than 10 subscribers. So to see the next mug, I'm going to need to have just 25 subscribers on my channel. So talk to your friends, talk to your family, get them to subscribe, even if you just want to see the next mug. So yeah, that's my way to get new subscribers, just in case you didn't know. All right, so I want to just talk about a couple comments about my last video. So a few people didn't like the microphone on the goatee. One friend, he just looked at it quickly, actually thought I got it braided like a Viking. So interesting thought for the future, but once in a while I may wear my mic on my goatee, but today I'm wearing it properly, so yes, I will take that feedback at this point in time anyways. Another person gave me some feedback that perhaps I should have given an example of how a conflict is resolved. So what I'm hoping in the next couple to 3 weeks is to convince one of my friends to come on my show and help me out with demonstrating how to resolve a conflict. I could talk it through, which I did a little bit, but I figure I'll just get one of my friends out there. So if anyone wants to appear on my show in the next few weeks, we can of course travel to you, or you can come to me, because although I've been doing my Java with John from my couch, it's been nice outside, so I might do a little bit of traveling here and there for my show. So yeah, those were the two, and then again, lighting, we're playing with lighting a bit too, had some comments on that, so hopefully this is going to be a good lighting system. I want to make sure that my quality of video is up to snuff. So those are the comments. And again, if you have any comments, please feel free to write them on my comment section or email me at javawithjohn2016@gmail.com. Again, that's javawithjohn, all one word, 2016, this year's date, at gmail.com. All right. So on to the next episode. So you know what's quite funny? I had some stuff planned. Then I was having a conversation with Randy and Jeanette, two of my friends. Jeanette, again, was the one who made the mugs for me. Randy's actually her son, and he's the one who's helped me with the YouTube stuff. And so I'm switching things up a little bit. I want to talk today about the power of words. Words are hugely powerful, and I would direct you to some of my videos to kind of look at me as I talk about not necessarily the power of words, but just talk about words in general, in terms of manipulation, motivation, conflict management, self-care, body, like all that stuff, body image, all that stuff. Words are so important. Words are powerful. So I'm not going to direct you to watch one of my videos. I'm going to direct you to watch all of my videos. So watch them all, because you're going to see the power of words, and I don't talk about that as a theme, or I don't use that necessarily, those words. However, words are powerful. So today I want to talk about that. So people love to read. Some people love to read anyways. Lots of people like to watch TV, like to watch movies. But in whatever medium that people enjoy in terms of watching, listening to, 99% of the time there are words. And I'm saying 99% because there's some instrumental music out there, etc. Silent movies people enjoy, but even silent movies have words on the screen, and words are powerful. Words convey emotion. Words convey approval, disappointment. They convey happiness, sadness, anger, lust, love, and all other probably hundreds of emotions out there. So we need to watch how we use our words and when we use our words. And I say when because sometimes a sarcastic comment is appropriate, sometimes it's not. Sometimes an emotional response is appropriate, sometimes it's not. Depending on who you're talking to, depending on what type of relationship you have with the person. It's important to choose your words wisely, and I say this because sometimes I struggle with that. I tend to be a very sarcastic person. Sometimes I use sarcasm as a defense mechanism. Sometimes I use sarcasm because I want to make people laugh, and generally it's well received, sometimes it's not. I was talking to Jeanette yesterday, and we were just talking about just the power of words, and she was even talking about when she was raising Randy. You know, so she told Randy at one point in time, whenever I use the word stupid, slap my hand, not slap her, slap her hand. Because she realized the impact making that kind of a remark can have on someone. It can lower their self-esteem, it lowers their self-worth, it destroys their self-confidence. Because stupid is such a negative term. Myself, I hate to use the term weakness to describe people. Weakness to me implies helplessness. And I think generally whenever we struggle in certain areas, we're not helpless to change them unless it's a physical or mental limitation. But when we say I have a weakness in that area, I have a weakness in that area, I think it's a self-defeating word. Again, these are just examples of the power of words. I like to use the word challenge, right? Again, challenge or limitation. Limitation is, you know, I can't drive. That's a limitation of mine because of my vision problem. However, my weakness is not diplomacy, but sometimes I am challenged in situations and I need to be more diplomatic and more tactful. And I recognize that. That's not a weakness, it's a challenge. A challenge is something you can overcome. I remember in high school, another powerful kind of example of words is one of my counselors, Dave, said that it's not that you can't do something, it's generally that you choose not to do something. Can't is again a very disempowering word. Choose not, it puts some accountability and responsibility on you. So when it comes to the power of words, again, just like motivation, those internal words and those external words. And self-talk is very, very powerful. I remember last year I was in some counseling to kind of work through some stuff. Yes, I do counseling, even though I counseled other people. And I learned about something called cognitive behavioral therapy. I don't want to say I learned about it, but I had a renewed interest in it. I've heard about it many times, many years ago. I did a little bit of reading, but this was something that I figured the psychologist was using on me. Even my doctor pointed out he actually termed it. So that was quite fascinating. So I looked it up, and a lot of it is about self-talk. A lot about it's about recognizing what you say to yourself and how it impacts you. For example, when we do things, we'll go, "Oh, I'm so stupid, I shouldn't have done that." Again, that is negative self-talk, as it's called. Another way to reframe that, to make it more positive, wow, I made a mistake and I'm going to try not to do the same thing again. You're saying the same thing, but you're not judging yourself. I hate the word should, and although I use it sometimes, I really try to avoid that word. But I use it sometimes, and you'll have probably even heard me use it in past videos. It's interesting, I was talking to a colleague a couple 3 years ago, and she was going through some difficulties, and she talked to me about, you know, I shouldn't feel this way, I shouldn't feel that way. I said, look, you feel the way you feel. Don't judge yourself for feeling that way. Because when you say, I shouldn't feel this way, I shouldn't feel that way, not only do you feel bad because that's the way you're feeling, you're making yourself feel worse because you're judging yourself in terms of how you feel and that it's wrong to feel a particular way. That's just a couple examples of self-talk. Now, what do I mean by external talk? Well, external words are from what people say to you, right? Our self-esteem is gauged, not controlled, because again, you choose how you feel, but it's gauged by how other people relate to you. Again, I was talking to Jeanette yesterday. We were just talking about raising kids and stuff like that, and how for the first 4 or 5 years of a kid's life, there's no such thing as over spoiling them in terms of social and emotional things, saying I love you, I care for you. And I 100% agree with that. Kids need to hear that they're loved for. Kids need to hear that they're cared for. One thing I learned in my career is that there's a thing called reactive attachment disorder. And that basically happens because for the first several years of a child's life, they're not touched, they're not held, they're not nurtured. And that's really understating it, but I don't want to get into that topic because that's a whole other topic. I've worked with kids with reactive attachment disorder. It is very damaging on their self-esteem. It's damaging in terms that they can't build relationships. They display aggression, they display defiance, just lots of other stuff. And that's because for the first few years of their life, they weren't loved, they weren't nurtured, they weren't cared for, they weren't held, they weren't told that I love you, they weren't given those positive reinforcers that little guys need to hear. So it is very important, right? And it's funny because as children grow up, the words they hear, the world gets bigger. They get friends, they're exposed more to family, brothers, sisters, which they probably have sometimes from birth, sometimes they're an only child, but whatever. Their world expands, and the people that impact them grows and grows and grows. And as that happens, they're influenced more by other people's words. And again, your words are powerful. The Bible even talks about, words are like a double-edged sword. You can either edify, you can build people up, or you can destroy and you can tear people down. Sometimes I tear people down by accident, right? And there's nothing wrong with apologizing and say, look, I didn't mean that. I always tell my friends, look, if I go too far, tell me in the moment, and I will apologize. And I think sometimes people think my apologies are sarcastic, but I truly don't want to hurt people. I truly know the power of words. Working with kids, working with teenagers that have been physically, emotionally, psychologically abused. Words are so powerful on their psyche, on their self-esteem, on their self-worth, whatever words you want to use. So remember, you have the power to make someone feel better. You also have this power to make someone feel shitty. Use that power wisely. Right? Do you want to use, again, what's your intention, what's your motivation? And if you want to tear someone down, maybe it's best not to open your mouth, right? And people, if some people's words are tearing you down, and it's hard, especially when you're in that situation, deflect it with positive self-talk, even if it's internal. And at some point in time, go to the person and say, look, these words, what you said to me really hurt me, really bothered me. That's what friendships are about. Again, we talked about that in the friendship video. Video number 7. I'll include the link in my description. Video number 7, we talked about friends. There's always conflicts. There has to be honesty. And I implore you, be honest with each other. Be honest with your kids. Be honest with your family. Again, words are powerful. And another powerful thing, I just want to end on this thing, the power of apology. The power of saying you're sorry. That's a very, very powerful tool when you're dealing with people. I might even talk about that in one episode, future, because I've learned so much through apologizing. I've learned what to do, what not to do. So just think, in the next 24 hours? How are you going to build someone up with your words? Maybe it's a client, maybe it's a family member who's going through problems. Maybe it's your spouse, which of course is a family member going through problems. Maybe it's someone you work with. Maybe it's a stranger you see and they're kind of moping around. Maybe there's a word or something you can say that will make them feel better. And most importantly, what things can you say to yourself that will make you feel better when you're stressed? That will make you feel better when you're dumping on yourself? What words can you say to make yourself feel better? Remember that too, because that is vital. Again, as I said in my self-care video, you can't help others if you don't help yourself first. So remember, to all my broasters with the coasters, zap that like button, because I like you. And until next time, be yourself, because nobody else can. Hello, it's John here. I just wanted to clarify something that I mentioned in the video. I just want to give some clarification. When I mentioned that children who have reactive attachment disorder, they can't develop relationships, I should probably clarify that. What I mean by that is they have major difficulties developing positive, healthy relationships. And if they're not given the proper treatment/interventions, then they may go throughout their whole life without the ability to develop healthy relationships. And the sooner they get that intervention, the more likely they are to learn how to develop those healthy, positive relationships. Again, take care and remember, be yourself, because nobody else can.